Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Snuv, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is Game of Thrones, Season 1, Episode 2, The Kingsroad.
Oh my god!
In this episode, we hit the Kingsroad. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Last episode, we were so scattered that I never even said that, so...
Really?
Yes.
That's funny. I think because we just started, and we just started being like, well, this is... I can't believe he did this.
Yeah. So, who died in this episode?
No one?
How?
Oh, that dude.
Excuse you.
Oh, yes. What's her name? Lady. Yes, lady. Okay,
jail. Straight to jail.
I wasn't thinking about those events. I was just thinking about Winterfell, okay? I am a Winterfell-based
Who was
girly.
the dude you said? The assassin?
Dude, yeah, the dude who came to
kill
kill
but
Bran.
Also Micah. Forget him.
Oh, shit, yeah, him. Yes.
Wow.
Okay, they didn't...
wow.
They didn't dwell on it. They didn't even, show it.
But it happened.
Okay, but I'm not gonna remember it if it's not dwelled on.
Okay. I mean, we talk about all the minor deaths when we talk about the chapters, but these big deaths you're just not going to dwell on. I see.
We can talk about them, but I'm not going to remember them at the onset of our recording.
All right. So, what did you think of this episode?
It was really fun. Okay, so, I really enjoyed it. I remember being, I think when we were watching the first episode, I was just so excited to be there, is the way I would describe it. That I don't even remember how much...
You were there for the vibes.
Exactly. I don't even remember how much of that was enjoying the episode, and how much of that was enjoying the fact that I could watch an episode. So, but I think this time, as excited as I was to watch it, I think as soon as it started, it was like, I was over, oh my god, and it was more just, enjoying the show. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't know which one I liked more or which one was objectively better, so don't ask me that. But I did really like this one. Because I think my biggest thing, and I think I'm going to say this a lot, is that they gave us so many interactions that we didn't get to see before. That I don't even know if they
okay, which ones?
There was just, or maybe we did. Maybe I could totally be forgetting everything. But there was random interactions where I was you're talking?
Was noticing how much they took right out of the book.
Okay,
so much of the dialogue is word for word.
Wow, okay, I think I've definitely forgotten then. This is really embarrassing.
There's definitely scenes that are very modified, for sure.
Okay, but I don't remember Jon and Jaime interacting.
That did not happen, no.
Yeah, I also don't remember Cersei and Catelyn interacting.
That also didn't happen.
Okay. Those were my two big things where I was...
Yeah, but one of those things is... Okay, we're gonna talk about that.
I know, I get that, but I still think, it was just really cool to see it done differently.
Right.
And I think because we're so... I think because it's only the second episode, and I don't yet know the repercussions of those changes, I can enjoy them more thoroughly, because to me it's just something cool they did, and I can try to think about what it's going to change in the future, but I can't be mad about it yet because it hasn't happened. So to me it's just oh, this is mind-blowing. It feels like new content. So those, and then also, yeah, I don't know, I think some of the changes they made were cool, and I don't know, I thought added a lot to the episode. I don't know if it adds a lot to the series as a whole, but to the episode, I liked it. But there was definitely some things where I was like, what? Why are we doing this right here? And so, but I think overall, I enjoyed it, because I'm still under that sort of veil of wow, I get to watch the show a little bit. So.
Right.
So I think I'm less critical. I'm more vibes right now.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to be a bit more critical as I think about it.
So, do you remember enough to summarize any of it?
Okay, I can try.
All right. Let's give you 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, post Bran's fall, Catelyn's there all the time. Jon comes in, he's like, I'm leaving. Ned's there, kind of stops that altercation from getting too intense. Cersei comes in, spews all these things where we're like, whoa. They head out onto the Kingsroad. All the goodbyes happen, and then they head out onto the Kingsroad. And then Jon gets to the wall, sees the wall with Benjen, and the
No, this is 10-second warning.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant done. Okay, sorry. Okay, give me 10 more seconds. Okay, so the Sansa with Joffrey encounters Arya, Micah. Poor Micah dies. Joffrey's sword gets into the river. That whole altercation happens.
Okay.
They get presented before the...
That's time.
Sad. Okay, I tried.
I would never... just silently stop you.
I know, but
We're on a podcast here.
I know, but
I'm just trying to help you with the time management.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me. Anytime you try to do that, all it does is confuse me, because I'm always I'm so caught up in my own thoughts that when I get any other signal, I'm like, oh, stop.
Yeah, for everybody listening, I was just holding up 10 fingers.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, stop, not 10.
Okay, so... that was fine. I think I got so confused by, the confusion that I forgot what you actually said, but that's fine. I think people listening heard it.
Yeah, I got, 75% of the way there, which is my trademark anyway, so...
I thought it was 70%. You're giving yourself an extra 5% credit today.
I don't care. It's not 70. You always say this. You know what? I think that I am okay at this, so 75 is okay. I think the range fluctuates between 60 and 90. I never get 100% of the way there. And I don't think that I'm usually, in the 30s. I think that my range is usually 60 to 80, and then, outliers go to, 90 to, 50.
Okay.
Anyway.
That was... okay, stats queen, whatever. Let's... My... standard deviation is blah blah blah. My variance is blah blah blah.
Real. I should show this to my stats prof for extra credit.
Okay, so we start off the episode, and it starts with a shot of the Dothraki walking in a line, and you were like, who's that? Because you expected them to not be that.
Yeah, I think
Explain your thoughts.
Okay, because I saw that, and I was like, okay... are they already on the Kingsroad and we're skipping all of the action at Winterfell? That was my first thought. I didn't even... because, I don't know, it just seemed with the way it was shot and the angle...
it was not a horde of Dothraki. Yeah, it was definitely just a sad line of them.
It was just a line of people on horses, and I was like, is this the beginning of the column? And they're on the Kingsroad? Well,
this is,
I don't know
this is happening. The beginning of the we don't have enough money to actually show you an entire army.
That's wild. So but I was about to get mad, because I was like, why are we skipping all of those scenes? There's a lot that happens there. So I was just very confused. Definitely not a horde in any way. Also, even when they get closer, they don't get more intimidating. They just kind of you just kind of see the makeup, and you're like, okay, queen, girl boss, I don't know, you're gonna kill me? Okay, try, I guess. I'll kill you too. There was no intimidation. I kind of want to see those scenes from Dany's perspective. And I know that, throughout this episode, she starts to get that, she starts to, take power over her life and whatever. But, I want to see that change. I want to see that in the shots. I want to see that, in how they're framed.
Yeah, the beginning of this is just very, she's still wearing her, pentoshi garments, which are just, not great for horse riding. Yeah. And she's not happy with the dried horse meat. Yeah. And she and Jorah are just talking about, this sucks.
Yeah. Also, yeah, so all of that, it's almost because we're obviously from, Dany's POV, so it almost gives it, a more, bored appearance. It doesn't give that Dany, we don't see that change. So I didn't really like Dany's arc, because it was just giving nothing. It was very, very linear the entire time. However, Jorah's accent is really funny to me, and I don't know why. It's just
like the same accent as everybody else.
No,
isn't it?
he like says things differently, and it's entertaining. Okay. And I don't know if it's his actor, but I feel like I've said this before. I'm like getting deja vu, but like I don't know, his voice is just like cool. But because it's Jorah specifically, I think it irks me out. I think if anyone else was doing the inflections the way he was, I'd be like, wow, they talk so cool. But because it's Jorah, I'm like, this irks me a little. So anyway,
I only have seen him in one other thing, which is Downton Abbey, in which he also plays kind of like a creepy older guy hitting on a younger girl role, and it just isn't. I don't know. I have no good sense of who he is.
Poor guy. If he's a good person, that sucks. That's all people have seen him as.
Yeah, but basically the gist of this scene is that Dany is struggling with adjusting to the Dothraki life. She's not, like, about this life. And she's, like, her hands are all messed up and she can barely walk after riding all day. Just, it's no good. But there's this part where Jorah has this moment with Viserys. Viserys, that's his name, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm so confused with all the... Yeah. I have just gotten worse and worse at this. But he's talking to Viserys and he's like, hey, you could just hang out back in Pentos and we'll get you your army. And he's like, no, I will take my army with me and whatever,
Viserys is so filthy. That's the point.
Wow, how eloquent.
Thank you. I don't know where I was going, but I think that's where I
think you get it from me.
Yeah, I think just like, I don't want to keep repeating what we say, but like I think he's just so... the casting's so good, and I want to punch him. And his like he has like these beady little eyes and this like little nose, and you just kind of want to like, no hate to the actor, like I'm sure you're lovely, but it's like in this I just like really want to punch you. And like, yeah.
He does a good job of being hateable. Yes, indeed.
And it's just icky.
Yeah, and he assures Jorah that in his lands people won't get punished for simple things like selling other people into slavery. That's not going to be punishable under my rule. Which just assures us that he is going to be the great king that he is destined to be, with that golden crown of his and all.
Long live Viserys.
Yeah. Okay, so then we cut to Winterfell, where Tyrion is waking up in the kennels?
Yeah, where?
Question
why?
Mark?
Why? Do you know why this choice
it's kind
was
of
made?
cute. He's like cuddling with one of the dogs. That's cute, though.
I know,
like,
but
one of
like,
the dogs is just like.
I know, but like the whole point of his introduction was he's in the library. Not like the knowledge scene with Jon.
No, you forget his introduction where? In the show or in the book?
In the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like his whole, that's what I'm saying. His whole introduction in the book was like the whole, like,
he comes in to the feast with giving advice to Jon. That's how we are introduced to him.
No, aren't we introduced to him? He's been like in the library all night, and then he's been like reading, and then he finally leaves.
That's like the Tyrion chapter, but like when we first see him is in the Jon chapter.
Okay, but still, to me that was just like the
like
kennels...
this morning in the book started with him coming out of the library.
That's what I mean. Like to me, his first POV being that library scene and us establishing that was like really important. Because then, like, I don't know, the scene with Jon and like the mind needs books like sword needs a whetstone. Like that just doesn't hit as hard.
Scene comes.
I know it comes after, but it doesn't. I would have liked to have seen that after seeing the library scene, so that it has more of an impact.
They definitely paint a different picture of Tyrion. Like the first scene of him in the show is when he's like in the brothel.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Like it's. I don't know what they're doing with him.
Yeah,
and I
don't like that.
honestly surprised when he woke up in the kennels. I didn't remember this.
Yeah, it just and they never like explain it. He's never like, I
fell over, or I was like, drunk, I fell over and fell asleep.
Yeah, like I really, humans don't understand me, but animals do. Like they didn't even give him the Jon emo arc. Like they gave him nothing for why he was there. Like, Anyways, not gonna dwell.
But Joffrey is there to lord over him.
Yeah.
And just, be the horrible person that he is.
Yes.
And the Hound is there. Did you think he looked more like the Hound this time? Because you were like, that's the Hound last time?
No, I think it really just is the issue with being a reader and then going to watch the thing. It's never gonna live up.
Fair enough.
And I don't know how they could have made it live up, because I'm assuming that's makeup, right? Like, the way they do that?
His scar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, like...
It's like prosthetics.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So, like, I do think they did a good job with that, but I think, to me, it's just, like, sometimes your mental image just can't be matched. So that, to me, isn't really, like, a critique. It's just, like, it won't live up to my mind. And that's fine. But I think this time, because I knew what he was supposed to look like, I was like, that's the Hound. But I wasn't like, oh, that's the Hound in my mind. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So, yeah, Joffrey's just like, we're leaving, get ready. And Tyrion's like, well, we will leave once you go to the Starks and give them your best wishes for their son's recovery and all of that.
Slay.
And Joffrey's like, I'm not gonna do that. And Tyrion punches him. He's like, you say that again, and I will punch you again. And then he punches him again, and it's great. It's not a punch, it's more a slap.
But I don't remember... but I don't remember there being any slap before Tyrion becomes Hand and all of that goes down. Am I wrong?
You know what? I think you're right, but I meant to check this, but I forgot to.
Okay.
Nope, it happens exactly the same way.
Really?
Yeah.
Slay.
The Stark boy is nothing to me, Joffrey said. I cannot abide the wailing of women. Tyrion Lannister reached up and slapped his nephew hard across the face. The boy's cheek began to redden. One word, Tyrion said, and I will hit you again. I'm going to tell Mother, Joffrey exclaimed. Tyrion hit him again. Now both cheeks flamed.
Oh my god, I hate that I don't remember that. Because that was so confusing to me. I was like, slay, but I don't remember, like, I thought that was a thing that built, but that's cool.
I remembered a lot of the dialogue being the same, but this, like, even more of it is the same.
That's cool.
He tells him, remember that slap, and you go tell them that you're sorry and all that.
Slay.
And I'm gonna go get some breakfast. Mm-hmm. And then this scene is once again pretty much like word for word from the book.
Yeah.
Down to like what he orders from for breakfast. And it's just like, oh, interesting that Brandon died. And they're like, maybe he should. Wouldn't it be merciful? And all of this stuff. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to go to the wall to piss off the edge of the world. And Cersei's like, okay, children don't need to hear your filth. Let's go. I'm basically reciting it now. What is happening?
No, it's good.
I don't know how to cover a show.
No.
I don't know how to cover an episode.
It's okay. No, this is good. I think it's just confusing because we've covered it all before. So I think part of you is like, how do I cover this as a show? And part of you is like, how do I cover what I've already covered? But I think it's okay. It's good. Okay. Some observations in this scene. Cersei is so pretty. And every time she came on screen, I don't know if I felt this way before, but I think today I just kept being like, oh, I hate her, but she's so pretty.
Being unimpressed with Jaime, but then...
Cersei, okay, I'm sorry. Cersei
They're both very beautiful, okay?
But Cersei is more Cersei level beautiful than Jaime is Jaime level beautiful, and I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. That's not an objective opinion.
I don't know, I feel like they're equally good looking.
I don't know, I think Jaime's
this is so unlike us. We're usually like, he's so hot.
No, I think Jaime's just not what I expected for Jaime. I think...
Okay, fair enough. My exposure to Jaime was this Jaime, and then I kind of like
built
interposed this Jaime onto the book Jaime, exactly. So it makes sense.
But I think the Cersei is lovely. Or not lovely, but like it looks lovely. Like I totally see the vibe of like...
I like their... Well, yeah, they're kids, but like the kids are so cute though.
I know, they're like, oh, Tyrion uncle. Like they're so slay. And like I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna become king after Joffrey dies? I can't wait. Like, you know? And like, oh,
if he dies.
Just let me believe, okay? All of that. And then okay, Jaime's line about give me death any day.
over being disabled.
I was like, oh my god, that's not going to age well for you. Because the first time around, I didn't know that.
Right. Oh my god, I forget. Okay, Harmon.
Yes.
When I was reading this, I remember highlighting that line as like a wink wink.
Yeah.
Like in my wink wink color.
Yeah.
And now I can actually talk about it because you know what the hell it is. I totally forgot.
I know. I pointed it out and you were looking at me like I was weird. I was like, what do you mean? This is...
I wasn't looking at you like I was weird. I'm trying to pay attention to like 4 things. Like the show going. I've got you going. Not that you're not like very immersive, but I also have my notes. My brain is doing a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
That's okay. But yeah, so that line to me really was just like, that's gonna nip you in the butt, buddy. Because I think when you read it, you're just kind of like, oh, he's an asshole. But then you hear it after knowing it, and you're like,
yes.
You.
Okay.
So that really stuck out to me.
This is how I should approach it. I should approach it as a reread with you, knowing things.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Now I have found my flow.
You found your niche.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, you know, Tyrion's like, well, that's so final, and I would love to hear what the boy has to say if he ever wakes up. And, you know, Jaime's like, I don't know if you
are on our side, buddy.
And then, of course, the famous, you know how much I love my family.
Ooh. You know, it would have been really cool if he said that, like, as he was killing his dad or something. Like, oh, father, you know how much I love our family.
No, but Tywin's death was perfect as it was.
I know. But I'm just thinking, in an alternate world, if we had to rewrite it completely new, that's what I would do, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is that Tyrion, at this point in the story, actually really loves his family, and by the end of Storm, he hates his family.
I know, but that's what would make it hit. It's like the same line, but completely different. But anyway... I think I'm approaching this as though I'm the director. I'm like, here's what I would change, here's what I would keep. But you know what? I'm just gonna give my opinions.
Are those all your opinions for that scene? Because I'm about to move on.
Yes.
Okay. Then we cut to Catelyn weaving. Did I do it?
Yeah,
Did I do the word?
Yeah.
Okay. These dolls of, I think, the 7. Okay, this is like a show exclusive thing that I guess they had to like give her something to do in the scene because it can't just be like in her head, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I'm so worried about Bran. Because that's what we were doing. I mean, I thought it made sense. It was like a thing for her to do as like she can't help Bran in any other way, so she's gonna channel it through these prayers. That makes sense. So she's doing that, looking a little ragged, and Bran's just the poor kid who plays Bran is having trouble like keeping his eyes closed.
Yeah, his eyes keep flickering, and I was like, "Oh, you're so adorable, buddy."
And this is when Cersei comes in.
Okay. What is this scene? I'm so like what do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, go through the scene like objectively what happens and then I will rant.
Yeah, so Catelyn's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to be here." And Cersei's like, "Don't you worry about it. I know what it's like to be grieving. I once grieved a baby, a little black-haired beauty.
My first boy? Whomst? Where'st?
Robert was very upset to lose as well.
Yeah, he beat his hands bloody on a wall. You know how men show they love. What? What did you just say to me?
This is like completely changing, like, because like a lot of the evidence against, you know, obviously black, blonde, like it doesn't add up, you know.
Yeah.
But there was at one point an argument that even if she'd had one kid who had black hair, it would have like stifled the rumors.
Yeah.
But she very explicitly didn't. Like, she even tells Ned that at one point she got pregnant and took like an abortion.
Yeah, specifically to not have his kid.
And then here she is claiming that her first kid was like explicitly Robert's kid.
Yeah.
And yeah. Like, and like she's also pointing out, like in the scene she says it looked just like Robert. Like,
yeah.
Why would you be pointing that out when your other kids look like that?
Exactly. And also, like, the whole thing about, like, Robert and, like, you know, all of the interactions. And even in this episode, he's still, like, during the trial for basically, like, Micah Arya vibes, during that trial area, he still is like, shut up, woman. So we still have that dynamic. But then in this scene, it seems like there is this thing that, like, bonds them, so it really changes
like,
their dynamic,
point they were in love. Like,
yeah, there's, like,
so
something
weird.
there. So, but then also part of me is just like, because our whole thing with Cersei is that she is cunning. Like, that is her whole thing. And, like, she's like, able to think up these things. So part of me is also like, is this true? Like, yeah, she could easily get this verified, but, like, would Catelyn? They're about to leave soon. Like, I don't know, like, is she lying? Like, I wouldn't put that past her, you know? Part of me is also like, is this, you know, the skeptical part of me is like, is this some sort of manipulative tactic to where, like, she's saying all these things so that Catelyn would never suspect her, and then she's gonna leave? Or is she saying all these things because she's secretly behind the assassin? So it's so maybe that's a change in the show storyline, and she's behind the assassin or something, and she's, like, buying time by talking to Cat, or, like, something, like, I don't even know, like, I just have all these thoughts where I'm like,
either it's true, like, within the show, or it's a lie, but either way, it is an invention purely for the show,
They've really said skeptical. Not skeptical. Spectacle. I messed up my words. Spectacle. I guess both worked.
Yeah. Which is why I didn't question it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, skeptical, sure, why not?
Yeah. So, yeah, like, I don't even know. So that, and then also, she calls Bran a bird without feathers, which I thought was...
She does?
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even realize that.
Or she calls her kid who died a bird without feathers. She calls one of them a bird without feathers. And I was like, oh, that's such an interesting, like, I don't remember that, like, sort of metaphor from the book. And also, the biggest change with this scene for me, was obviously Catelyn and Cersei getting this interaction, which obviously doesn't happen in the book. But the second thing to me was, like, you know, I think Cersei in the books, like, straight from her introduction is ego increases each year, cunning, beautiful, you know? But I think this scene, you almost want to sympathize for her, and it really, like, gets you on her side a bit.
If this is not something she's making up, then it's definitely more, like, sympathetic toward her character than anything in the book
we've seen. So that's like, that's an interesting character change that, like I don't know how I feel about that, you know? Because in the books she really cared about her kids, and there was a lot there, but I don't know if there was necessarily, like, grief there. There was definitely, like, regret over her years with Robert and, like, hating that, but I don't know if she necessarily had, like, grief. So I think now we can kind of think of, like, if we figure out that this is in fact true, like, we can think about, like, her future decisions and plans from that point of view as well. And also, like, how's she gonna feel about the Bran thing because of that? Like, if this is true, does she actually feel bad about Bran? And is she genuinely like, Jaime, oh my god?
Yeah, but she was just telling Tyrion, wouldn't it be kinder if he were killed?
I know, but that's also what makes me think, like, this can't be true, right? Because to me that feels kind of, like, dissonant. Like, how can you be like, my kid died and it sucked, but...
It sure does.
Like, you know, so that also is, like, either you're just,
pick
like...
a side, pick a lane.
Either you're a flawed character, which isn't bad, you know, we want characters to be flawed, or you're just, like, lying... Which is, like, also, like, wow, this is, like, you're gonna lie about something like this? So I just don't know what to make of it, but it was a really interesting addition.
Yeah. And it's her own baby that she calls a bird without feathers, by the way.
Yeah.
See, like, 2 episodes in, and you already are noticing when I'm like, show's different, and you ask me to, like, be like, what was your thought about this? And I just have to be like, it was different.
Okay, true. This was, I think to me, this was, like, the biggest big change they've made so far. Because this is the biggest thing that changes a lot of things. Especially because this mystery doesn't get resolved even properly. Like, even at the end of the 3rd book, we have an assumption that we think is probably true. Do you know what I mean? We don't hear Joffrey being like, that's what I did. And we don't know if we ever will. So imagine how long they draw it out in the show, too, but with different evidence and different things happening. That's, wow. I'm surprised you haven't, like, messed up and accidentally told me what happens in the show. Have you?
Now you realize how hard my job is.
No, I know your job's hard, but this is an additional thing that makes it hard.
Yeah.
Because it's already hard to not spoil, but it's even harder to not spoil when there's 2 timelines. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So, I think that's all I have to say for that scene. I think my biggest thing was just like, what? You know? And yeah, I think that I do like the change.
You had, like, such, like, eye-bulging reaction to that when you were watching.
Yeah.
You were like, what?
No, I genuinely, because I did not see that coming. And also, yeah, I think the biggest thing that I like about this change is the sympathy that it gives us for Cersei.
But, like, don't go applying the sympathy to, like, Cersei in the books, though.
I know. Which is gonna be so weird. It's gonna be hard to keep. I can barely keep track of one timeline, bro. Okay.
You wanted to watch the second episode.
I do want to. Okay, but anyway.
See why I also want us to, like, wait until we're done?
No, I'm still in favor of watching one episode at a time. It's okay.
No.
So, yeah, I think I liked that change, but it was just like, it's very shocking, but I liked it because sometimes I think we fall into the trap of seeing Cersei as this, like, evil, wicked woman, so it's nice to, like, see this other side of her, like, right from the beginning and kind of be like, okay, she's a multidimensional character, let's go with it. But yeah, I'm just kind of scared for what this is gonna mean for future things.
That's pretty much the end of the scene. Like, Cersei leaves, and Catelyn goes back to praying, and then we cut to Jon in the armory, forgery, whatever.
Something.
Yeah, and he's getting needle made.
Ooh.
And Jaime walks up to him and is like, oh, thanks for protecting us from all the grumpkins and snarks and whatever, you know?
This was so annoying.
And
I was like,
if you don't like it, it's only for life.
He was so mean. I was like, why you gotta be an asshole, Jaime? Like, these are like 2 of my beloved characters interacting, and it's just annoying. Like, this isn't even a fun interaction. Like, I kind of, like, didn't really understand the purpose, to be honest, of this edition. Like,
do you remember in the book, Jon, when, like, at the feast, they're going through the procession, and he's like, Robert doesn't look like a king. Jaime looks like a king.
Yeah.
And that was also back when, like, George R. R. Martin was, like, unsure about where the story was gonna go, and he had that whole, like, making Jaime the Warden of the East and, like, him being hungry for power storyline that gets dropped thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But, like, Jon had a sense of admiration for Jaime that I don't know if that comes across in the show.
Right. So maybe, like, before that interaction, he could have been like, hey, that guy looks cool. But, like, now it's just...
Yeah. I mean, it was, like, 2 characters that literally have never met meet. After that, we cut to Arya and Nymeria packing, and it was the most adorable thing, and I just wanted to cry.
I know, I was so...
Arya's so little. Like,
Arya's a
baby! Like, reading, you forget how little they are,
you know?
And by the way, I think we talked about this. They're aged up, like, 3 years in the book.
So she's even more baby.
Exactly.
That's terrifying. Oh my god, I hate that for her. Oh, Arya! Oh my god.
Right?
Oh my god. But they're so... I have no other adjective, but them together is so baby girl. And it's so cute. And, like, yeah, I hate
What did you think of Needle?
Needle was cool. I liked Needle.
Yeah,
Needle was cool.
Very much like a needle. Like, as much like a needle as a sword can look, you know?
Yeah. It definitely wasn't the disappointment that I got with Ice. Where with Ice, I was like, what? Because I think to me, Needle wasn't, like, epic. It was just, like, it was suited to Arya, and it was supposed to be, like, quick and, like, cool and, like, needle looking. Yeah. So I think I was like, yeah, that's cool. That matches.
And we get the first lesson, which is to stick him with the pointy end.
That was so cool. Also, okay, this episode made my Kit Harington crush so much worse. Because, okay, he did this, like, he didn't...
You can't look him up still.
I know, but I want to! So badly! I hate you for not letting me. Okay, also...
We'll just get Yaya to, like, send you daily compilation.
No, yeah, if you do that, like, I will literally be forever indebted to you, like, genuinely, please. Anyway, Kate, but the thing that I was going to harp on specifically in this moment, the puppy dog eyes are so effective.
Like his or Arya's?
His. Arya's too.
Okay.
But Arya is like, I'm not like attracted to Arya. Like, Arya's are just
okay,
like,
I didn't know what you meant, because she also is like sad about him leaving,
like,
you know?
But hers is just like, it like breaks my heart, and I'm like, oh, Arya, like, baby girl, you know? But with Jon, I'm just like, oh my god, you're so broken, and I'm so attracted. He's like, homie Kit is so good. I don't know how else to describe. I don't want to say his full name, like that takes too long, you know? Homie Kit.
But you'll say homie Kit.
But Kit alone kind of feels like I'm talking about Kit Kats. So I gotta say something longer in between. So homie Kit is... Okay, homie Kit is so good at that. Like, anyway, literally slay. Like, every time he does it, I'm just like, oh my god, you're like an orphan, but like not, you know? And it's just like so sad, and it's so effective, and love. So slay.
Alright, Jon fangirl, can we move on?
Yes, we can. That's my last Jon fangirling for the episode. I just needed to get it all out at once.
I don't know about that. But the next scene is another Jon scene, but this is when he goes to say goodbye to Bran.
Yeah.
And Catelyn is immediately unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing here? Well, what do you think? Like,
Yeah.
you know? She was so... Like, I remember being in her head and, like, we talked about how... Okay, the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically like, I just don't want you here. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
In the book, remember, she says it should have been you,
Yes.
as in, like, I wish you were here dying instead of my kid.
That was my big observation about this episode, was they made people more mild in their terribleness, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they made Cersei sympathetic. They made Cersei, they made Catelyn not say the biggest grievance that a lot of us had against her, you know? Where it's like, she, like, this is like the single worst thing she could have said in that moment, and she said it. She doesn't have to love him, and but she's made that very clear that she doesn't even like him. And, like, all of that sucks, and I think that was terrible of her, and she should have gotten over it, but I think I can forgive that. But to me, what I could never forgive was this, in this moment, because I don't care how much you're grieving, you don't say that.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
So she didn't say that, but also, my thing is, Ned comes in. So, is the only reason she didn't say it because of that dynamic shift that kind of makes you, like, think about, like, you know, when something happens and it makes you think about what you're saying and be more intentional? Like, was Ned walking in, which still, like, I would give her credit for that if that was the case. If it was, like, maybe it was on her mind, but seeing Ned, it's, like, her not logic, but, like, her, like, empathy almost comes back in, and she's like, wait, that's a terrible thing to say. I shouldn't say that. Like, I don't know if it was that, or if it's like show version wasn't gonna say it anyway. I'm glad that she doesn't.
Yeah, it makes her character much more bearable.
Yeah, I'm so glad that she doesn't. Like, yeah, it sucks that she's like, you should leave, but...
Yeah, like, why are you here? He's here to say goodbye to his brother. You've said it, leave.
Know, but it's not, like, unforgivable anymore, which I'm happy about. But yeah, no, Kate, however, so... She's like, why are you here? And he's like, I'm going to the wall. And she kind of, like, reacts really intensely. Did she not know? Is it different in the show? They didn't push it on him? Like, he just wanted to do it? Because you know how in the book, he both wanted to do it?
You're asking all these questions, but who am I supposed to ask? Okay, let me remember. Because it's like, yeah, like the Maester brings it up as like an idea for Jon, and then she's like, oh, I hope he goes for it. Like secretly she doesn't voice it.
Yeah.
That's her whole thing. I don't think we had that scene in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the show it's more just Jon's choice as opposed to like, it's partially his choice, but they're also like, great that you made that choice. Now go do it.
Yeah. And with like the Ned interaction, like it really feels like he just kind of decided it, because we did have that conversation with Benjen, both in the show and in the book. So here it feels like it was just the Benjen conversation, and he was like, great. So But it's interesting that, like, I don't know, that's still weird that it's, like, she's finding out right here. Like, I know a lot of other things have been happening, but I don't know, it was a weird way to...
Or maybe she's heard, but, like, it's, like, finally, like, hearing it from him, like, I'm leaving
she's like,
right
oh,
now,
you're actually leaving? Like, yeah, so that was kind of weird. I don't remember him in the book saying, like, as he's talking to Bran, he's like, I'm gonna come visit you, you know, when I'm at the wall, like, when you're... Or, no, maybe you can come visit me when you're all grown up... Blah, blah, blah.
Well, you read the same thing. You tell me.
Okay, don't get mad. I'm just throwing things out there. You don't have to answer them. I'm just saying things. So I just was like, oh.
In, like, a self-defense tactic. Not even, like, self-defense, but kind of self-defense and, like, not spoiling you. I blocked a lot of the show out of my mind. Or only let myself think of the later seasons where things are so different that I, you know, like... There's very little chance of confusing anything.
That's smart. Yeah.
I think that's what I've subconsciously done, which is why I can't remember the details of the show anymore.
That's okay, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud, because I'm trying to think about how it changes what's happening, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
So just, like ask your questions and be prepared for crickets, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So this was really cute, where he just was like, you know, he's, like, still having this hope, and he's, like, saying it out loud to him, and it was just a cute scene, you know, more sibling dynamics, as we love, because we're gonna get very few of them for the next little while, at the very least.
While.
I'm trying to be optimistic, okay? Okay, and then fucking Ned just, like, walks in, which was weird.
I mean, it is his house.
I know, but, like, this was such a big change, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he just kind of walks in, but this was weird because she didn't want him to go because the Lysa letter didn't happen.
It did happen.
What?
She gets a letter. Definitely. That scene happens. The Maester brings them a letter.
Wait, but then why didn't she want him to go? I thought that was because she didn't get the letter.
When she gets the letter, she's like, you have to go. But now that Bran has been injured, she's like, you are abandoning your family.
Oh. Was that how it was in the book too? She changed her mind after
No, I don't think. I think she was just like, yeah,
it sucks,
the way
but
it's
it
gotta
has to
be.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Like, we didn't get this exact scene, so maybe she was like, maybe you shouldn't go. I don't know, but I don't remember that being a thing.
Okay, Key, we'll talk about this later. It comes up later. It's fine. Yeah, but this was interesting because she's kind of just like, don't go. You made your choice.
Yeah, and a lot of people that go down south don't come back, so...
If we only knew.
The thing is, though, that they're gonna reunite very soon. Like...
Yeah.
You know, in King's Landing, when she shows up.
I know, but then they never see each other again.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he never comes back north, but doesn't mean that she never sees him.
I know, but still. Like, one more time, come on.
But then it just becomes that she never comes back north either, so.
Real? Oh, this is so sad. Yeah, so they have this little protest, but then it's like, no, decision's been made.
Gots to go.
And then we get a little Rob John. This scene slay. I love the siblings. I love how much sibling interaction there was.
At this point, we're like, Rob's so hot too.
No, he's cute. He's cute, but he's no John.
That was your one comment on the entire scene.
Whoa, did I say that during the episode? Like,
yes.
Oh, I don't remember saying
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Oh, that's funny. I literally don't remember that.
But you know it happened.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I just don't remember it.
Anyway, they say goodbye and then they leave and we see like the entire group of people leaving Winterfell and they come to this kind of crossroads like the Kingsroad. One goes north, one goes south, and Benjen and the Night's Watch people go north, obviously, but Ned like hangs back with Jon for a second and is like, so there's great honor in doing what you're doing, and it'll be cool. Don't you worry about it.
This, and we'll talk about your mom when I see you again. Like, bro, also, okay, yes, I like this edition of the scene, as heartbreaking as it is that they never see each other again, but this was really nice closure, because we literally don't see them interact in the entire first few chapters. which was bonkers. Like, what do you mean? You know, he's supposed to be his father. So this was really nice. I'm glad that they added it. But the "we'll talk about your mother when I see you again" was a gut punch. And also, because it's like, bro, y'all just never explained that properly. And then, okay, but my thing is, like, did he never ask about it until now? Or did Ned always just say, "We'll talk about it later"? Or, "I gotta go do this, we'll talk later"? Like, this feels like a weird time to ask it, or maybe it's
well, maybe John asked as a kid and was shut down, and by now it's kind of understood that it's not something we talk about.
Right.
And now John's seeing it as his last chance, so he's like, "Tell me about my mother."
Right.
And
I guess, it just, like, I don't know, it just felt odd, but I think that does make sense, yeah.
I think it worked. I think it was unfortunate.
I'm just glad that we got to see this supposed father and son actually talk to each other for a second.
Yeah, but we don't see Ned talking to many of his kids.
I know, but I love John, so I needed that one
like
specifically.
The only like significant interactions I remember with him, with his kids, are like with Arya and Sansa once they get to King's Landing, you know?
And even there's only like 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the one with Bran where he's like, he's a man
most
grown.
of the interactions we get are actually memories from his kids. Like, John will be like, "He used to teach me how to do war," or Bran will be like, "He taught me to be brave." Oh no, that one we heard. But like, we were there live. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that was really the only one we got at Winterfell, was the one of Bran, him being like, "Bran's almost a man grown." Like, she was like, "He's only 8, or he's only 6. That's almost a man grown." And we were all like, "What? What's wrong with you?"
7.
Yeah.
He's almost 7.
Yeah, that was really the only father thing we got.
Yeah. So they each like ride off in their opposite directions, never to see each other ever again.
That's so sad.
Unless, of course, there's a Ned zombie somewhere. And we cut to the King's party on the road somewhere. And they're having a picnic. I don't know. Like, I guess they can have a picnic.
It's kind of weird.
It was just a little weird.
Yeah.
Because this scene was like, this is the one where Robert makes him ride out at dawn, like, way off, like, to a secret location or whatever.
Yeah, he was like, "I just needed to get away."
Exactly. And here they are having a picnic. It was just funny. Yeah. Like, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking about all the things that, you know, these are the people I've had sex with. Who was that person you had sex with again? Oh, right. Willa, whatever. Yeah. You never told me about her, and I never will. But here, look at this letter. It tells me that Daenerys is married to Khal Drogo, and I should kill her. And Ned's obviously like, no, she's a kid, who cares? You know, Ned's like, we don't have to worry about them, they're across the Narrow Sea. And Robert's like, there's a war coming. I don't know where it is, but it's coming.
How specific, buddy. There's a war coming there's wars coming, okay, buddy? Also, the only really note that I had in the scene was just like, when like Ned's like, "Oh, her name was Willa," he just like looks very regretful. And I was like, interesting. I'm just always trying to, like, anytime...
I wonder if Sean Bean, playing Ned Stark, knew about, like, John's, like, parenthood, you know?
Yeah, I wonder.
Or if he was just told, like, if the script just said, "Look regretful," or if it was, like, he's regretful because he knows the truth. Like, right. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what was the dealio there.
No, yeah, that's always cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Then... we cut to somewhere in the Dothraki Sea where Khal Drogo's just getting ready for the night, having forced sex with Daenerys, who is very, very looking not happy about it.
They really, like, I feel like in the book, like, the way it's written, like,
it was, like, reluctant consent.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like, straight up crying.
Exactly.
Which, like, I don't know if it's any better, but it's more palatable to a lot of audiences. Yeah. Which also makes us be like, we should question, why is that, you know, acceptable?
Why are we okay with that?
And it's not. It is definitely not. But it's definitely... I don't know, it was, even in that moment of, like, reluctant consent, there was, like, a slight sense of Daenerys taking control of her life. Like, she's like, these are the lemons I've been dealt, and this is the lemonade I'm gonna make with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to like.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, like there's some consolation in that, but it's annoying and disgusting that we have to find consolation in it.
Yeah, but it's like straight up sexual assault. Like, no, not even like any whisper of consent anywhere.
Yeah.
And
that's the
like,
thing.
people argue that it's like a delay. They want to delay her character development, like make it slower so that it's more like
impactful,
impressive when she eventually comes to her own. You know.
I know, but there's. I feel like
but why are we using sexual assault as a plot device? You know, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Why? It's not all I'm gonna say, because clearly I have a lot to say, but like, it's the main thing I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird, but it also felt like, it was different in that way, but it also could have been like, because I feel like sometimes a little bit of the writing, like when we're seeing it in her head, and this is one of his issues, right? Like, he writes it in this like romanticized way to almost like gloss over it a little bit sometimes. But then I feel like sometimes like when we saw it, it's harder.
About which part?
About like this specific scene. Like I remember when we're reading it, he already has that, like, there's that bit of like her taking agency, but he doesn't, like, I don't know. I feel like the description in the book and the way it's seen in the show,
I don't know if this specific scene we know from the book,
because we have these multiple times of basically her being sexually assaulted, and then as they go, she's like, okay, well, this is happening, so, like, the metaphor you made before with, like, this is how I'm gonna deal with what's happening.
I think she makes, to keep this bad analogy going, I think she decides to make lemonade that first night. Like, in
the book.
You know? Yes.
Right.
So later on, when she's like, oh, I'm gonna ride you, that's like going above and beyond. That's like a spiked lemonade. Okay, what is this fucking analogy?
Okay, so you're saying like, you're saying that later on was later, but the first few nights she was already kind of like, okay, well, this is happening, so I have to deal with it. Is that what you're saying?
I don't remember any scenes with her actively crying through the sex scene.
Okay, yes, I think I agree with you, but what I'm saying is I think that even the scenes where, like, we don't remember her, like actively crying, I think sometimes bad things are happening to you, but I know that I do this a lot, where my coping mechanism is to always make it seem less bad in my head than it actually is. So what I'm saying is, like, some of the scenes where, like, we're saying, oh, she's taking agency, she's making a little bit of lemonade, not the spiked lemonade, but like a little bit of lemonade, maybe from the outside this is still what it looks like, but in her head she's coping with it by being like, okay, it's fine, I have to accept it, but it's still like is seen in this way when we don't have her thoughts.
You know what? I think I agree with you, because even her entire outlook on her relationship with Khal Drogo
is very romanticized. Afterwards, she's like, he helped me so much.
Sun and moon and stars and whatever. Yeah. But, like, meanwhile, we're like, he bought you as if you were a commodity.
Yes.
You had no choice. There's, like, you know?
I know.
And meanwhile, she's like, the love of my life.
And, like, I respect her decision to cope in that way, because sometimes you just need to cope with shit.
Whatever you need to do.
But it's just like, you just kind of look back and you're like, really? So that's all sorry, that was so long-winded, but basically what I'm trying to say is that even though to us watching it, it's jarring because we don't remember it this way, I think this is exactly how it went down, even when she was taking charge, but not quite, like, physically taking charge yet, but when she was taking charge of the narrative in her mind.
Yes. Okay, that's a really good way to put it. I really appreciate you right now, because all I can come up with is lemonade analogies, and you actually have words that we need for this important discussion.
That's my thing. I have to talk through things. In my head, it doesn't formulate, but once I say enough words, eventually I get somewhere. It's like...
Well, sometimes I just start a sentence and I don't know where I'm going.
Yes, I was gonna quote that. Who was that? What was that? What were we watching?
That's The Office.
Yes, okay, thank you. Because I was like, I remember that from, like, when we were talking, but I can't remember what it was that we were watching, yes.
You should know that most of the conversations we've had in the past, like, 6 weeks have been all Office related, because I've been so in, like, the Office universe.
That's so funny.
If we were to, like, start a podcast now, like, if this didn't exist, it would be an
Office?
Office related, because this is what I'm obsessed with now.
No, but that's my thing is, like, I don't relate to Michael Scott in many ways. I watched a few seasons of The Office, and I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I appreciate its cultural impact, is what I will say. And I don't really particularly like Michael Scott as a character, but the biggest thing I relate to him is that, because that is literally me as a person. It's like, I say things, and then eventually they get somewhere.
Yeah, but your things actually get somewhere. The whole thing with him is that they don't go anywhere. The thing that I do is that I say that people, you should never ever, for any reason whatsoever. And now that we've had our obligatory Office tangent, let's move on. Okay, the part that's important in this scene is that Dany, while this is happening, is like looking at the fire, and it looks like she is drawing strength from it, and just kind of, which is like, because she's a dragon or whatever, all of that stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry, the dragons are fucking ugly.
The dragons?
Or the eggs.
Where?
The eggs.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I need to say that. I think that the eggs are really ugly and they look like claymation, and it's just like, I can't appreciate it. I literally feel like if I put a finger on it, it would like fold in like plasticine. Like, I'm sorry. I don't like the eggs.
That's
Maybe
fine.
that's just me. Like, in my head, they were like really pretty and sparkly.
Okay, so we cut from there to Jon staring into another fire, because he's also a dragon. I don't know. You know?
It's actually a good excuse to make. I like that.
And this is like them on the Kingsroad to the Watch, and they're bringing in the prisoners that they're taken to swear their vows. And, you know, Tyrion's like, oh yeah, those are your new brothers now. You know, not criminal people and all that kind of stuff. And Jon's all glowery, and
I literally just wrote Pouty Jon, Whetstone Books, Bastard Dwarf. Those were literally my notes. And I think it was just to remind me of what happens and like what they say. I think,
they talk about Tywin being the hand of the king for 20 years until Jaime killed that king, except he was hand. He quit being hand before, like, a year or so before that happened. I don't know. There's some kind of a timeline difference there.
Yeah.
But basically, Jon's like, why do you read so much? Well, because I gotta keep my mind sharp. That's my sharpest tool, and all of that stuff.
And Jon's like, oh.
What did you say that one time? The shiniest tool in the shed? What was it?
I don't remember. I think that's what it was. Yeah, but we kind of see, like, visually Jon get that, like, respect for Tyrion, which is cool. I don't remember, do we see this? We see this scene from Jon's POV, right? Not Tyrion's in the book?
No, it's Tyrion's perspective for sure.
Yeah, he basically is just like, don't let people, like, take charge of who you are, or else people will always use it against you. And Jon's like, oh.
Yeah, his standard, you know, misfits advice. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
From there, we cut to Bran's room again. Catelyn's sitting there still, and Maester Aemon, no, not Aemon, Maester Luwin, oh my god, remember that guy?
Oh god.
Maester Luwin comes in. He was like in a Black Mirror episode that I watched after having seen Game of Thrones, and I remember like the whole episode I was just like, what the fuck is Maester Luwin doing here?
That's so funny.
Sorry. Maester Luwin, and he's like, you got work to do. You gotta leave this room sometime.
Oh, God.
And she's like, no, I don't. And this is when Rob comes in, and he's like, I'll do the work that needs to be done.
Oh, I love Rob.
Yeah.
I love Rob. I can't believe I did not fall in love with Rob at this moment. I can't believe it took me, like, Ned dying to be like, we need a Ned substitute. Like, I did not appreciate Rob. Like,
well, you were too consumed with John.
I know, but this is such, like, standard older child syndrome. We're just like, okay, well, parents aren't doing shit, let me do it all. We're not, like, you know, just, I need to chip in, do my thing.
Yeah.
And I just was like, man, why do you gotta do all of it? But I also was like, thanks for doing all of it, you know?
Yeah. So Lewin leaves, and Rob comes in and opens the windows. He's like, it's so goddamn stuffy in here. But Catelyn doesn't like that, because she can then hear the wolves howling, which they have been just constantly doing. And she's so, like, in the book, like, we remember her being really annoyed with them until Summer saves Bran's life, and then she's like, okay, these wolves are cool. But yeah, Rob's basically like, Rickon needs you. I need you. Can you, like, be our mom too? She's definitely playing, I don't know if it's playing. Okay, you know what? I'm not a parent, so I don't know what it's like when one of your children is at, like, you know, in peril, and then the others also need your care, which is probably why I'm not a parent. So yeah, that and many other reasons. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I know it's tough, because it's like, it's not that she's doing the wrong thing. It's just like, even though she's doing this thing that's important and being there for Bran, it's like, objectively, she's also neglecting her other kids, so it sucks. But it's not like, I don't think it's fair of us to be like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that, because it makes sense. But it still just sucks to see, like, the consequences of it anyway, even though it's not like she's, like, being evil, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, so Rob sees the fire out the window, runs out to get it. Catelyn kind of, like, goes by the window to be like, what's going on? She turns around. You're not supposed to be here, guys, there. And it's like, oh, it's a mercy to kill him. Don't worry about it. And obviously they have, like, the fight. There's a very graphic scene of her, like, clutching the knife in her hands.
This was horrifying. I think in the book, I didn't fully understand what was happening until after it happened, so I couldn't be horrified. This, horrifying to watch it.
Yeah, like, it digs deep, and then, oh god, yeah, like, even, I know, like, just why? Summer comes in, tackles the dude, rips out his throat.
And then you still see, like, the blood throbbing, because the heart's still fucking, because the heart can just go on its own, so it's doing its own thing, and you fucking see it throbbing, and it's disgusting. And you guys, I can handle gore in real life. Like, if I see the blood, or I see the vomit, or whatever it is, like, I don't care. But when it's depicted, like, it's almost like the imagination is worse than the reality. Watching it on TV, and the way they did it is so weird, and it just, like, icks me out. And I was like, is this what it feels like to hate blood? Like, I don't like this.
Honestly, the hands getting cut
was worse for you?
Worse for me. Because I think this is why. Because that's something that could potentially, I could see, like, happening, you know, to someone in our, like, you know, universe, world, like, whatever.
Right.
But, like, a wolf ripping out your throat is much less likely, which is why I'm like, oh, it's just a TV thing, you know?
Right. I know, but just seeing it was like, ah!
Yeah, it was, all of it was very gory. And, like, Summer is, like, all bloody, but, like, curls up next to Bran, and he's like, come at me now, bitch. Like, yeah. Also, remember, Summer doesn't have a name right now, but we know it's Summer, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically that scene. Then we go back to the Dothraki Sea and Daenerys getting, like, dressed or cleaned up or whatever. And she's talking to her handmaidens. And apparently, in the show, Dothraki just means any and all people of color. Anyone not straight up white, not like an ethnicity of people, but just, like, anyone. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Because there are, like, an actual ethnic group, you know, at least in the series, you know. And then here it's just, throw all the brown people together and that's it. You got your Dothraki.
Oh my god.
It is
icky.
like that, right?
It's icky, yeah.
But they're talking about the moon and it being an egg and the dragons coming from it and that kind of stuff. But one of her handmaids, what's her name? You know what? It literally doesn't say. She's talking to one of her, so she dismisses the rest of her handmaids, but keeps, we think, Eerie behind to teach her sex ways. Teach her sex, basically. And it's this very long, extended scene, which comes later, which is just, like, very much catering to that male gaze.
Yeah.
Ickiness, you know?
Yeah. Very weird.
Let me just tell you, there's more of that to come. And it gets worse, it gets longer.
Because then the thing is, if they explored this, that would be cool. But they just, like, it's just a gimmick. And then just never, and then it's like, okay, well, clearly this is just to fetishize it and, like, move on.
It's 100%
so
that.
It's annoying. Because it would be cool if they did explore it. That would be cool. But they don't.
Explored, like, sex lessons? Like, explored what?
Not sex lessons. Like, Danny being with a girl. And, like...
Oh, yeah. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
I think they are exploring that.
You want, like, a manual? Like, what are we talking about here?
Stop. That's so funny.
The Dothraki's first health class.
Stop. That's crazy.
Anyway, we cut. There's a lot of cutting. Like, just show me all the scenes in one place and then, like, go. We cut again to John, where we were just, like, a second ago. But they have now arrived at the wall. My only note for this is, why do they look so grimy? Like, okay, I get it that they've been supposed, like, according to the book timeline, they should have been on the road for 18 days at this point. So they would be grimy, but I don't know. I never noticed before just how grimy they were. Like, it's definitely fake grimy.
Yeah.
But it's very obviously grimy. Like, you came across streams, you couldn't splash some water on your face? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, we get, like, a shot of the wall. Dude, what did you think of that? It was very CGI.
It literally doesn't even look that big. Like, I don't know. To me, it was just like, this is the wall. Okay.
Yeah, well. So, it's just them seeing the wall, and I think this is the last literally we see. Scene. That's what we all see. And then they
call it a day?
Yep.
Like, what?
Okay, now we cut to Catelyn CSI.
What the heck? Okay, this is why I didn't think there was a letter. Because this, and also because when she's telling everyone about her discovery, she doesn't mention the letter. So when did the letter happen?
In episode 1, it definitely happened.
Bro, I literally don't remember the letter at all. Okay.
It was just the maester came in. He was like, there's a letter. Catelyn read it and burned it immediately. And she was like,
did they say
it's
something?
From my sister. Jon Arryn was killed on purpose by the Lannisters.
Okay. I guess... Okay, so then we have that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Cersei Catelyn bonding moment.
Yeah.
And then now we have this.
Yeah, well, in between we have an attack on Bran's life, which is like, okay, there's more to him. He didn't just fall. You know, somebody tried to kill him on purpose. Why would they do that? Let me go to the scene of the crime and investigate, aka Catelyn CSI.
Okay, cool. Continue.
Goes up to the tower. What's wild is that she finds this one blonde hair.
Yeah, this is so unreal.
But also, Cersei's kids are blonde, so maybe it was like Marcella and Brad were playing in the tower, and she pushed him off, or he fell, or something. I don't know.
Maybe just off of the vibes with Cersei's conversation, she was like, "What is this?"
But it was just really weird. She like. In this entire, like, dirty room, she finds that one hair, holds it up for us to inspect. It was just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it was just, like, if the letter hadn't happened, she wouldn't have immediately jumped to that.
Right.
But maybe the letter happened, and then talking to Cersei made her be like, this is weird, maybe there was a mistake or something, and then finding that, she was like, she just connected everything, and she was like, no.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's fine.
yeah, I don't know. It's just weird because there's so many pieces, and we don't know what she knows because we're not in her head. Like, we don't know what she thinks or is making of all of it. So it's weird.
Yeah, like in the book, they have this whole talk, like, who else was around that day? And the only two people that didn't go on the hunt that day were Jaime and Cersei. And like, they kind of do all sorts of other deducing.
Right.
So I guess this was like shorthand for that. It's fine. It was just funny in the moment because it was like so.
She just found a hair and she was like, culprit, done.
Yeah. So then they're meeting in the Godswood, which I was like, Catelyn is meeting in the Godswood? Like,
oh my god.
You know how she's like always creeped out by the Godswood, and now here she is like, this is the only safe place, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But also like,
Theon's there? Does she trust I thought she doesn't like Theon.
No, not yet.
Or was that Ned's? Ned was like, I don't trust him.
No. Both of their things is we don't trust him fully to like go back to his family and still be loyal to us.
But we trust him in general.
Yeah. Until he supposedly kills Bran and Rickon and burns down Winterfell and so forth, you know?
Right, okay.
So, yeah, I don't think, like, there's any reason not to trust him right now. And I think, like, here, Theon's, like, straight up just, like, yeah, this is my fam. I'm rolling with it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he has any malicious intents in this moment either. But they're just like, okay, so the Lannisters are behind this. Something shady is going on. We gotta investigate it. I gotta go to King's Landing. And Roderick's like, I'll come with you. And Rob's like, I want to come. But Catelyn's like, no, there must always be a Stark in Winterfell.
LOL, not much longer.
Oh, yeah, and they're also looking at the dagger and like, oh, this is some expensive shit. Somebody powerful gave it to him. So let's investigate.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes and hangs her, like, knit dolls, woven doll thing wreath above Bran as like there's nothing else I can do for you, so I'm gonna go do the investigating instead. So that was nice. So after Catelyn saying goodbye to Bran is the scene with the over explaining how to have sex thing, and then it like transitions into Daenerys taking control during sex with Drogo, and that's pretty much that.
Mm-hmm.
She speaks to him in Dothraki, so that's something. She's learning the language. And finally, we are at what I assume is Castle Derry, and they're camped out there.
This scene made me mad because there was no Renly!
Yes, okay, we're gonna talk about that.
I wanted Renly, and I was so mad! So sad. Anyway, continue. I want to meet Renly.
In the books, he's the hottest man that Sansa's ever seen, so.
That's why I want to be. No, that's not it. It's because I just think he's really funny.
Oh yeah, he was so funny. Lion's tooth.
Yeah, like all of that, and also because we get to see him for such little time, that like now if he's getting introduced even later, or if even at all, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was so mad. I was like, where? Whomst?
Yeah.
And why's the Hound here? Like, why are we replacing Renly with the Hound? This is not an upgrade. Like,
no, the Hound was also there.
I know, but he's like taking some of the lines that Renly would have said. So I'm like, why are you saying things? Like, I want Renly here. Yeah,
so it's basically, you know, they're settling down for the night, I guess. I don't know. Cersei's RV is packed there. Parked there. Wow. Cersei's RV is parked there. Can you tell I'm tired? Sansa's walking her wolf lady.
Aww.
And fucking Joffrey gets in her face. But first, she runs into Ilyn Payne, the King's Justice, and he's like menacing looking. But yeah, the Hound's like, shoo off. Don't you worry about it. And this is when Joffrey's like, oh, is my dog scaring you? And Sansa's like, hee, my prince. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this part. This part hurts. Joffrey's like, come hang out with me and leave your wolf. And obviously, big mistake.
Don't do that.
Yeah, Sansa tells Lady to stay. And since Lady is such a good pet, she stays. And they run off and they're like drinking. you know?
Yeah.
And they come upon Arya and Micah practice sword fighting by the river. And Joffrey's like, oh, is that your sister? Who's this peasant who's fighting a noble-born person? And just, does his usual dickish things.
Yeah.
Cuts Micah. Arya gets mad. Nymeria comes running, tackles Joffrey. Arya takes his sword, throws it in the river, and leaves. Oh yeah, Nymeria bit his hand a little bit, whatever. Who cares? Yeah. But he's like, he's like whimpering on the grass. And Sansa's like, oh my god, you're hurt, let me go help. And he's like, go get it then.
That Sansa, because we saw this from Sansa's, and it was so sad. It was so annoying because in her mind it was like this perfect thing, but it's like you're trying to achieve this perfect thing with this like terrible, terrible, terrible human being, and it's just like Joffrey just has to go and ruin everything, and the scene is it's so annoying to watch too. It's just like, come on, buddy, like he did not need to do any of that. Like, you're doing too much. Get out.
Yeah, just all of him existing is doing too much,
Yeah. And Sansa, like, the entire time just being like, you guys need to stop, and you can just see, like,
stop it! You're ruining it! You're ruining my fantasy!
When she said that, I was like, oh my god. Like, I always, anytime someone's like, who do you like, but like not like to like, I'm always like Sansa because she's me. Like, I just, I felt
has she
that
developed
moment.
Like in the books to, like, you actually like?
Yeah. Okay. I like her now. But during this whole thing, I was just like, girl, like, grow a backbone,
Yeah.
Because that's like me talking to myself. But basically, like, this whole thing, I was just like, so real. So real. Sometimes it's just like, you're like, if y'all didn't do that, this would be fine. And you can just see, like, all of her panic and everything, and it sucks. Sad. I hate Joffrey. He sucks. Arya did nothing wrong. Joffrey's the worst. Poor Micah. Justice for Micah.
Apparently you forgot that he even died at the beginning.
I didn't forget. I just didn't recall in that specific moment.
Okay. So we cut to Arya, who has to throw stones at Nymeria to get her to run away because they're gonna kill Nymeria if they find out that she hurt Joffrey. And she hides from, like, the people looking for her, and it cuts to, like, Ned and his people looking for her, and they hear that she's been found by the Lannisters and taken straight to the king, and he storms to the castle and is like, why wasn't my daughter brought to me?
Cersei's like, you're gonna let him talk to you like that? And he's like, shut up, woman! And then he's like, Ned, just calm down, dude. Let's figure this out. I want to go have a drink. Like, let's get this over with, basically.
Yeah, they have, Arya's like, nobody hurt, he hurt Micah. That's why that happened. It's not our fault. And Joffrey's like, that's a lie. And Robert's like, well, who am I supposed to believe? And Ned's like, well, Sansa was there. And she comes up and she's like,
I don't remember.
Yeah, but we talked about this. Like, she's in such a tough position here. What else is she supposed to say?
I know, but I'm still salty. Like, it's like the going and telling Cersei, where it's like,
it also does get Lady killed, but like, it's not Sansa's fault.
Yeah, it's not Sansa's fault, but it just sucks what Sansa does.
Has to do, is put in the position to do, because she has to choose between her family and her to-be family, and that just, nah. They're like, okay, well, there you have it. That's the thing. Okay, why don't you discipline your kids, Ned, and I'll discipline mine?
Literally the only good decision Robert has ever tried to make. Like, go off. Logically, makes sense. They're literally just children. They had a little quarrel. Let it go, But then Cersei has to open her freaking mouth. Well, there's the wolves! And
your son will bear the scar forever. You're not so son. And Robert has to be like, okay, do what needs to be done. And get her a dog. She'll be better for it. Blah, blah, blah. And that's like, are you for real, dude? And Robert doesn't even have the courage to be like, yeah, he just walks away. Coward.
Fuck you. And Sansa crying was just like,
she's like, what do you mean? What's happening? Like, you don't mean Lady? Lady didn't do anything. She's a good wolf. And yeah, so Cersei's like, get me that wolf's head. And that's like, I will do it if it has to be done. She's of the north and she deserves the northern way and respect and all that. And both Arya and Sansa are crying. But Arya's more like mad crying. Just like glaring daggers at both Cersei and Joffrey. But Ned goes out and sees that the Hound has got Micah on the back of his horse because he ran him down. And Micah's dead. And now Lady's gonna be dead. And it's all just sad. Sad, sad.
Oh, God.
Ned's like walking over to the kennels, and this scene intercuts with a shot to Bran's bedroom. Mm-hmm. And as Ned kills Lady, Bran wakes up.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
But it was much cooler in the book when I liked the chapter and you didn't remember any of it. Do you remember Bran's waking up chapter when he goes through this entire wild dream and you were like, huh? And I was but it's so cool.
Our most downloaded episode of all time that people listen to and they're like, wow, we hate this girl, and then leave.
Is that the one?
Yeah. That's the Bran one, right? Or no. Never mind, I got confused. That's Bran 1 that people always end up going. The one where I thought he was a cereal. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we didn't know what we were doing. We still don't know what we're doing. So, like, are they wrong to leave? Not really. Moving on.
No, but no. Anyway, so yeah, no, that was, I'm a little bit ashamed of that, but also, like...
What? I'm not ashamed of a single thing. Take it or leave it. No one's making you listen to this.
No. Like, I'm ashamed of how I didn't, like, appreciate it.
I thought you were like, I'm ashamed of our first episode, because I was just ready to, like, fight you through this Zoom screen.
It was our first episode. No. I'm a little embarrassed, but I'm not ashamed of it.
I'm not embarrassed.
No, I think it's okay to be embarrassed, because we weren't as good as we are now.
I think we're still just as shitty, but occasionally better.
I completely disagree with you. I think that we are miles better because I think when we started, I think I was just in this, like, weird mental place where, like, half of the episodes I, like, wasn't really, like, I don't know, looking back at them, I'm like, was I even there for that? So I think, to me, it's just, like,
okay,
we're better.
I think we're better generally, but I think we have certain really standout great episodes.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, remembering that episode, I think I just, like, didn't really care, so I was like, what do you mean? But then also you were harping on it so much that it made me more and more nervous as it went, and then the more questions you asked me, I feel like the worse I got, because I was just so confused. I was like, what do you mean? I don't know what you're saying to me. So then it just kept getting worse.
Yeah, like... well, I'm sorry, but I promise you that, like, if you read that chapter after we finish the series, you will also be, yeah, like, you'll always, oh my god, that, and oh my god. Trust me, like, when I can tell you all the theories that come out of that one chapter, like, outweigh most other chapters, like, combined or something.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, but yeah, Bran wakes up, which was like, whoa. And I wonder if in here he might actually remember something.
Yeah, good
also,
question.
How are we gonna get that at all? Like, are we gonna get any of that cool vision dream stuff?
I mean, he's already awake, so who knows?
Damn. Okay.
Too bad, so sad. I mean, it is, really. But, okay. I don't know if we need to do predictions, but maybe just predictions on the one change, which is, like, making Cersei more sympathetic with that, like... Okay, do you think it was a truth within the show universe that she had this baby, or not?
I don't know, but I'm leaning no. I think it was...
That it's a lie, that she's lying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really change her character much then going forth.
I don't think so. Yeah. But
okay.
If it were to be true, I think it's just kind of like, then it kind of gives more angle to, because you know how basically all of her actions are about protecting her kids. Like, she doesn't care about many people, but she cares about her kids, herself, and Jaime, basically, you know?
As far as we know.
Yeah, that's kind of like her priority list, as much as we know of her. So I think if it were to be true, it would just kind of give even more, it would give even more reason. Like, obviously she's gonna care about her kids because they're her fucking kids, but it would give even more importance of that, like, maybe, like, the grief is interwoven there too, where she's like, I don't want to lose more kids.
Yeah, but you're saying that it's not true, so...
If it's true. I'm just saying if it's true. It's because I'm saying I'm leaning not true, but it totally could be true.
What's one thing that you would like to see in season 1 of Game of Thrones, which basically follows book 1 of A Song of Ice and Fire, that we didn't get to see in the book that you would like to see in the show?
Wait, what?
So you know how there's, like, extra scenes and, like, interactions that we never actually got? What's one thing you want to see that we never got to see in the book?
But it was the same. Like, it doesn't change the plot, it's just an extra thing.
Or either way.
Or it changes the plot. Okay, I think I want to see...
There's gonna be things that change the plot, too.
Yeah. Because there's so much I want to see. Okay, I want to see Arya and Sansa have at least some moments of liking each other before they leave each other for a while.
So, changing the plot. How about one where it doesn't change the plot?
Okay, I'd like to see the Varys sleuthings more. Like, I want to see them.
Like him sneaking around?
In doing stuff, yeah. Because you know how a lot of things we find out because he tells people, or because people find out that he did something? I'd love to, like, for example, you know when he goes to see Tyrion and, like, he's in disguise, that sort of stuff? It would be cool to see, or, like, when he goes to see Ned or something, it would be cool to, like, see him going through the tunnels, and we see that earlier than, like, book 3. Like, do you know what I mean? Cool. Introducing stuff that we know happens, but, like, we just don't get to see it. So stuff like that. Or, wait. You know all the stuff about Robb that we hear about, but we never actually get to see? That would be cool. Yeah, all that stuff, because now we don't even have to do it as POV. We just need to see it happen instead of just hearing about it.
It would be cool.
All those, and then... less Arya on the road in despair.
I said this season. Listen.
Okay, this season, I don't know if I want to or don't want to see Ned's death. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I want us...
That happens in the book, so, like...
I know, but I don't know if I want us to look away and, like, not see it.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how much of it I want to see, you know? I want to see more of Arya's lessons with Syrio.
I think you will. Oh, I spoiled you. Okay.
Wait, no, that's good. That's a good spoiler.
No,
I like that.
or no. Okay. I think I remember them better from the show because they're well done. I will say that. So I don't know if there's, like, more of them or if it's just, like, good scenes so I, like, remember them better, you know?
Yeah.
Not that her scenes in the book aren't good, but, you know.
That's cool. Okay. I like that then.
Okay. Sorry about the spoilers. I couldn't help myself with that one.
I love spoilers. You don't have to complain. I also...
I know, but I complain to myself.
Yeah. I also,
you don't have to keep going.
Maybe more Dany. No, but I have more ideas. I like stuff. I want to see less Jorah, more Dany, and I don't know how we do that.
I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, I think those are my thoughts.
Okay, cool. We don't... Like, next chapters is we're reading the prologue of A Feast for Crows.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned for that. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay. I was really... Yeah. I'm just...
You were really excited?
Words no happen. Because I'm gonna spoil if I say words, okay?
Okay, interesting.
You know what? Let's read a couple emails.
Yay! Exciting.
Okay. So the first email I have up here is by Mott's. It is titled, Cookie Dough is Great.
Oh?
Hello again. I was going to title the email Wrap-Up Thoughts, but I figured it would be too nice of me to give you a helpful and descriptive email subject 2 emails in a row. That's essentially what this email is. Number 1. Both of y'all have great podcast voices, and I love listening to you talk. And I'm not just saying this because you're my friends, and I love listening to my friends talk. I love listening to the two of you as podcasters. Your voices are great, and you're both highly entertaining people.
Aww.
Thank you, Moms. That's very nice. Number 2, I low-key want y'all to do a Bollywood podcast now. I love whenever you bring up Bollywood movies and Indian culture in general, and I think it'd be really fun to listen to, despite the fact that I've only seen one Bollywood movie in my life, that the one being Lagan, and that's a good movie, but I could recommend several others. But that's a thought. Listen, I'm on like a mission to educate Harmith on all the Bollywood movies because she hasn't seen so many of them.
I haven't seen so many, and then so many I've seen, and I just forget. But all I remember from them are like the songs, and then we start watching the movie, and I don't remember a single plot line, but then a song comes up, and I'm like, I know this. So anyway, they never stick.
One day we'll do like a Bollywood symposium. Number 3. Harmith saying she'd give immunity to the Hound. Can't wait to hear/see Yaya's reaction to this.
That's actually funny. Oh. Yaya has converted me, unfortunately.
Number 4 is just for me because it's a spoiler. It's in the wrap-up. I asked him like what the Mastiff is, and he explains what that is, so.
It's a spoiler?
Yeah, like we don't know this yet, so I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay.
But we might know it soon. I don't know yet. So, you know what? You'll know, I'll know, we'll all know when we know. Okay. Number 5. Love the callback to the nursery rhyme book joke from about 9 months ago.
Hey, we're constantly writing nursery rhymes, okay?
Number 6. Nav, I've been awake since 6 a.m. Me, who quit caffeine in June and has been having trouble sleeping since then. Often or usually waking up between 11 p.m. and 3 Oh my god. Sorry, Mots. I am so jealous. For real, though. Being awake from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. is brutal. I'm so sorry you had to record a 4-hour podcast episode after that. I'm sending hugs. Thank you, Mots. I value sleep very highly, and I also haven't been getting it very much, so I get it. I hope your sleep schedule also gets back to some sort of normalcy. I don't know. Sleep is like one of the essential things we have, and also the thing that we don't get to have a lot of times. And sometimes the thing we choose not to have. Moving on. Number 7. Nav, I definitely thought we'd quit the podcast before we got as far as book 3. I'm speaking for all the listeners when I say that I'm so glad you didn't. You know, I think we would quit like either within the first book or like not at all. That's I think that's how we operate, I feel like. No?
Yeah, once we committed it was like we were in.
Yeah, but like definitely when we were first starting it, I had no idea that 4 years later I would still be doing it, you know? I remember mapping it out and being like, oh, if we read a chapter every week, it'll take 7 years or something. And here we are.
Oh god.
Reading 2 chapters every other week. You're 4 into 7, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Number 8. I love how delirious y'all got toward the end of the episode. This is what we're all here for. Well, A Song of Ice and Fire talk too, I suppose, but mostly deliriousness. Well, you can hope for a lot more of that going forward. I can guarantee that pretty much. What do you think?
Oh my god. I think so, yeah. That's our brand.
We're not getting any saner as the days go on, you know?
Yeah, true. We just lose a grip instead of getting a grip.
Okay, number 8. No, number 9. Oh, slept. Number 9. I cannot express to you just how excited I am for y'all to cover A Feast for Crows. And Nav saying they intend to simulate the experience of rereading the book for the podcast makes me even more hyped. Especially because I didn't really enjoy it the first time. But now I fucking adore this book, and I really hope Harmith will too. Okay.
Interesting that people don't like it the first time. That's so weird.
It's not that they don't like it. It's like compared to like A Storm of Swords, you know? Like.
Right. Okay.
So, number 10. I'm so excited for all the things coming up for the podcast. The Mystery Night, the 2nd episode of the TV show, and of course, A Feast for Crows. As always, thank you for the show. I'm really happy that you both exist, and I'm grateful that you're my friends. Love y'all. Sincerely, Mots. We love you too, Mots.
Slay, Mots.
P.S. I want to reread the books again now, thanks to the episode. P.P.S. I may or may not have been eating cookie dough when I wrote this.
That's where okay, there we go.
And then he sent a follow-up email saying, regarding point 6, this is not me being bitter. That's the, like, him also not getting enough sleep point.
Yeah.
I just don't like using emojis in emails. If I were to use an emoji, it would probably be, like, the awkward laugh one. Sweet smile or whatever it's called. Anyway, conveying tone through text is hard. It's okay, Mots. We get it. Yeah. I just wish for abundant sleep for all of us. Let us be blessed. I don't know what I'm saying.
Let us channel our inner Baelors and be blessed.
Yeah, okay. So this next email is not signed, but the name is there. I'm gonna call them Simeon, which is part of their name, okay? So, Simeon, I think you'll know once we read the email that it's you. If you want me to, like, give your whatever name you would want me to refer to you as, please state so in a future email. Okay. So this one is titled, Give me your opinions on random media that I like. And it was sent sent like a month and a half ago.
Okay.
So, dear Navin Harmouth, I don't know how desperate you are for email content on the show, but just in case you really need to waste some time, I would like you to tell me if you've watched/read these things that I like. And if you have, could you give your thoughts on them?
Ooh, that's exciting.
Number 1, One Piece. I have not watched One Piece. Have you, Harmouth?
I have not. I've definitely heard the name, but
It's a very long form anime, as in there's like over 1,000 episodes, and that's what's stopping me from engaging.
Oh my god, okay. Wow.
Yeah. But also, I've rewatched The Office twice in the last 6 weeks, so it's not really a problem. I think I just need to get into it and then I won't be able to stop, you know?
Yeah. I think it's just always in your head. You're like, oh, it's this long? Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's on my to be watched list for sure. I don't know, Harmouth, do you watch any anime or is this on your radar?
I don't think so. I've never really watched, and I don't know, I don't really intend to, just because we all know I don't really watch things anyway. So
Number 2, the live action Cats movie. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. You can go first because I have a baby tangent.
Okay, well, I haven't seen the live, the animated, the musical, none of it. I only know that there's cats. And I know that in the movie there's like really creepy looking cats.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
Okay, so I know a lot about it, just because of following musical theater, but I haven't seen it specifically, because most of the reviews that I've heard have not been very positive. I know one person who really enjoyed it. However, I do that one person who truly really enjoyed it, I do respect their opinion. So it's kind of weird because every single other person on planet Earth is like, it sucked. But I think that one person who I know really liked it just loved the songs because like Jennifer Hudson's in it and Jennifer Hudson slays. And I have seen video clips of Jennifer Hudson performing Memory, which low-key single-handedly made me want to watch it. But then all the other reviews were like, don't watch it. So if you give me a good argument for why you like it, like, I don't know if you like it because you think it's bad and that's why you like it, or if you like it, or if you, yeah, like, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but if you make a good pitch, I will watch it because I do like the idea of it because I think it's funny. Yeah, that's my thing.
Number 3, Succession.
Succession. I know nothing about that. I've heard the name. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's like par for the course for you, pretty much.
I know, I'm sorry.
I have heard all about Succession. I've watched a few episodes. I watched like over a year ago when I watched them, but then like my HBO subscription expired and then I just kind of forgot about it, if I'm being honest. But I have also heard spoilers of things. But I don't know overall what happens. I will finish it at some point. It's, yeah, that's all I have. Like, I liked the episodes I watched, but apparently not enough to like remember to watch them again at a later point. Yeah. Okay, number 4, Back to the Future.
Ooh, yes. Okay. once again, the only reason I've seen these is because of drama class a few years ago. Just because if you're like, oh, why have you seen this and not everything else? But I loved them. They were really cool. I think I watched them.
Like all the Back to Futures, not just the first one?
Yes, I watched all of them. I watched all of them, I'm about to say much later in my life, but like I'm not that old, so that sounds very pretentious to say much later in my life. But basically, I watched them late enough that I don't have the nostalgia factor, so I don't think I like them as much as like a 90s kid would or something, but I do think they were really fun, other than the weird like wanting to be with your mother trope. That was kind of weird, but other than that, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really fun, and like I can get why they're kind of like classics and they've like stood the test of time. They're really cool. I like them.
Yeah. I also several years ago was like, okay, let's see what the hype is about, and I watched the first one.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like Harmut said, it didn't have like the nostalgia factor for me, obviously, but it was fine. I remember like the broad strokes. I don't remember a lot of the specifics. I would probably watch it again at some point.
I think my favorite thing about it was the style. I love that style of like, that style of movie from that era where it like makes fun of itself, but not enough that it's like kind of like sitcom-y or anything, but it's enough that it doesn't take itself too seriously. It understands that it has plot holes, but it's just there for the vibes. And the vibes are really good. And also, I think it's old enough that it really does feel like a different time. So like I've said many times, media is escape. I don't want to see cell phones. I don't want to see today's fashion. So I think it's always cool to have it feel like it's not what I'm living in right now. So I think that's what I really like about it.
Okay, number 5. The Medea movies. I will be honest, had not heard this term until I saw this email. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But no. That's the fact that I don't even know the term. But if there's any specific movies within that you would recommend, let us know. How about you, Harmut? Have you heard of it?
Same thing. Have not heard of it, but sounds cool. I don't know. I feel like such a disappointment for each of these. I'm like, I'm sorry,
listen,
I just don't watch things.
We hold a lot of like mixed culture within us, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's okay that we don't know all these things. But I like your like statement which you made, like if you can make a good enough reason for why I should watch something, then I will give it a try. We should have like some kind of a fundraiser where people like pledge to make us watch something. Okay, no, I don't know what I'm thinking. I shouldn't say things like this.
That would be cool.
Would it?
It would.
Who would even pledge? Nobody cares enough. Okay, I know there's at least like 3 people who are saying I care. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you. But I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm tired.
Can we not get economical about this? Okay, I don't like this.
How is this economical?
You're getting all like, oh, would it be worth it if like people... No, it's fine. It could be just be something that we do.
What is the cost-benefit analysis? What is the opportunity cost of me spending the time to sit down and watch Back to the Future?
You business student, calm down. Move on.
P.S. Please review episode 2 of Game of Thrones. So here you go.
Oh my god! Okay, yes. Here's
Hope
your
that
gift.
gave you enough random thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much for your suggestions. I don't want you to think...
I don't know if the email didn't say they were suggestions. It just said give me your thoughts.
I feel like it's still like, if it's important enough to you that you want our opinions on it, I'm assuming that you would...
Maybe it's something that they hated and also want to know if we hated it.
But either way, that's, like, suggestions. So, like, watch this and hate it, you know? That's still a suggestion. Like, what do you...
We should come up with a word for, like, bad recommendations.
Misgestions. Disgestions. It kind of sounds like digestive issues. Unfortunate takes. Unfortakes. Misfortunes. Mistakes! Ha! Oh, that's where mistakes come from. Mistakes! Mistakes!
Wow, you really figured that one out. Okay, I think that is our sign to call it.
Yeah, anyway, thank you, homie. Thank you for suggesting. We do care. I just, like, it's not that I don't care, it's just that, like, it takes a lot for me to sit down and watch something, and most of it is just, like, I get sad, and then I avoid my problems by watching things. So, basically, I don't watch things very often, so it's not that I don't want to watch your thing, it's just that I know that I probably won't, because that's just not me. So, appreciate the suggestions. Slay.
If you want her thoughts on things she watches, watch Bridgerton season 3 this year, and then
yes,
maybe you can get into her
real
zeitgeist.
Yeah. True, yeah, do
but
that.
But that's not even a guarantee, because I don't think you've, to this day, seen Queen Charlotte. Have you?
Okay, I've been meaning to.
See? Okay.
I've been meaning to. I'm going to. I just
everybody,
haven't.
Send us emails. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram @popculturesymposium, and also join the Discord for more discourse that nobody wants. I can't not be self-deprecating. I don't know. It's like wired into my personality.
Oh God. Okay. Yes. Join the Discord. We have a lot of fun discussions on there, and also,
we have much more fun discussions in the spoilers channel.
Okay, shut up. Moving on. If you do want to, if you liked what we just did right there at the end, like, oh, giving your takes about different series, we have a channel where we just talk about, like, whatever media you want to talk about. So if you want to, like, if you also liked Succession and you want to find someone in our Discord who has watched Succession and wants to talk to you, join the Discord and talk to them there, because they'll know. Anyway, join the Discord is basically the key takeaway.
So until next time, until a feast for crows. Farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.